people hear the word roofer, they have that like, ooh, they kind of cringe, like, ooh, you know, that
they don't trust you.
Right. There is that reputation. So right there, roof is great.
Welcome back to another episode of the Mission Control Podcast. We got Matt Grassmyer. Look, he's getting set up, folks. Look, let me tell you something. Life doesn't always go as planned. So, had a podcast scheduled for 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Said individual was not available, and I couldn't get him on the phone. That was disheartening. But life gives you lemons. You make lemonade, folks, and that's all we did here. We made some lemonade, and Matt was like, "Dude, I wanna get on the show." So I'm like, "All right, baby, let's get it." So before we go through the intro, I want to give a special shout out to the team at Roofer for help making this happen. If you need a CRM, instant roof quotes, clean and pristine proposals, which give your prospects no choice but to become customers, click the link in the description. Matt Grassmyer, HailTrace. Welcome to the show, man. Appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Michael.
So yeah, you slid in the DMs. I was like, all right, we got a live one. What do you want to talk about? It's like, well, let's talk about, before, during, and after a storm and acquiring customers. I was like, man, now we're talking my love language. So here we are. What do you want to tell the audience about yourself before we get started?
Well, I've been in this industry for 10 years, just celebrated 10 years on February 1st. Didn't even know this was a thing. I thought hail only damaged cars before I jumped into working at HailTrace. And I've, just spent the last 10 years helping roofers, public adjusters, and attorneys, figure out where hail has impacted areas and helping them go help people. So that's the long and short of it.
Yeah, well, and that's a great elevator pitch. I want to let you know that. I'm proud of you. On short notice, too, that wasn't rehearsed, so good for you.
Thanks, man. That means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. What's one mistake that roofers make when they're working a storm as it relates to acquiring customers and making as much money as possible?
I think, I'd actually go before the storm. I think one of the biggest mistakes I see roofing companies make, and the really good ones, the ones that have been around for a long time, they don't make this. They don't make this mistake. They understand this. The biggest mistake I see is people thinking they need to wait for a storm to go acquire new opportunities. And they're just waiting, and they're like, okay, when a storm hits, we'll go pound the pavement, or we'll go put our marketing out there. And if you're working in a storm market or even a non-storm market, you should be getting yourself out there 365 days a year, so that storm, rather than being the thing that gets you or the thing that triggers you to go get customers, it should be the trigger that brings the customers to you or makes it easier to be proactive to go get them. Instead of scrambling and going, okay, we got a storm. Where should we go? We should already know where we're going to get stuff from, regardless of where a storm hits. So
that makes a lot of sense, man. And I'm not a financial advisor, and this shouldn't be construed as any type of financial advice. But imagine waiting until you're 64 and 364 days old to start investing into a 401k. I don't think you have to be anyone who is even remarkably intelligent to know that if you're going to retire at 65, you should probably start investing in your retirement sooner. Now, I say that in jest. Ha, it was funny. I know you laughed. But realistically, this is what brand is, right? We want, when that storm hits, for people to know exactly what we represent. We want certain emotions to be evoked. They want them to be positive. So it increases the likelihood that they call us. They don't even go to the Google. They're not going to ChatGPT because they know what? Mike's Roofing Company, they're the goats, all right? That doesn't happen on accident, right? So what are some things, what are activities with intentionality that roofers can do before the storm in order to create this type of brand awareness and top of mindedness when the storm hits?
Obviously, I'm not a marketing guru. I'll stay in my lane. I know that's
I'm not a guru either, folks.
Maybe guru is the wrong word, but you have some really good stuff, and you have a lot of wisdom, and I love listening to your stuff, and I love seeing your content. So you know a lot more about this than I do. Maybe that's how I should have said it. But I think being visible and knowing your market and getting out there, in between storm season, or I guess to quote unquote the off season, knowing your cities or your areas past storms that have impacted the area, knowing where your customers are. If you know where your customers are, and if they get popped by another storm, you can either redo their roof or use them as a referral to go get new roofs in their neighborhood, doing like an hour's worth of like back end work to understand your area and making yourself visible, whether that's, marketing with, social media, billboards. I don't even know how good those are, like from an ROI perspective, but like putting yourself out there and like talking to people, and being out there before before a storm hits your area. I think that's probably the best way to do it, is just knowing your market and then being visible in whatever that looks like for you.
Yeah, there's no shortage of ways to do it. And you don't have to be a guru in marketing to just put yourself in your customer's shoes, right? If I were this customer and I had this problem, what would make me feel better about doing business with a company that provides that service? One is just awareness. They have to know you exist.
Right.
And the more places you are, the more consistently, the stronger the likelihood that somebody knows who you are and what you do. And you mentioned social media, right? Reels cost nothing. Shoot a little content. Go, Christian, you can drop it in the description. Opus, I think .ai, like it'll chop up long form into clips for you. Pull out like actionable moments that they think are good for you. Like caption it. It's easy. You don't even need to have an editor anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Maybe you do. That's not a shot at you, Christian. He's my producer and editor. So I don't want, your job is safe. I love you. You're the glue of the company. We've told you this many times.
Probably just makes his job easier, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's obviously you can door hangers and you can do Google ads and you have a nice website. Like there's all these different things that you can do, but just do something. Do something to impact change. And if you keep doing those things consistently, you'll start to notice a trend. Like, hey, I noticed this person said they found me here. I noticed this person found me here. Guess what you do then? More of it. Double down. Maybe you do less of the things that, aren't generating opportunities. But, that's the difference between brand and performance-based marketing. With performance-based marketing, there's an expectation that if I do this, then I'm going to get this. And you can fit it in a nice little spreadsheet and you feel good about it, or you feel fucking terrible about it. And, the things you feel terrible about, when you take a look at them, maybe do less of them. With brand, though, like you mentioned, billboards. You're not going to put up a billboard and say in 60 days, well, how many times did people say they found us on that billboard? The idea is the idea with that concept is that X amount of people drive this way to work and this way to home or to this restaurant. And we know that, some sales guy told me that the traffic on this route is 33,000 people a day. So there's conceivably 30,000 people that are seeing my brand. I've never called anybody off a billboard. I've never been like, oh yeah, Mr. Plumber? No, of course not. But I can tell you this, I'm going to sing you a jingle. Celino and Barnes, your injury attorney. Call 854-2020. Let me tell you something about that jingle. First of all, they do massive billboard advertisements. That law firm has not been around in 15-ish, 10 years maybe, in the capacity of Celino and Barnes. Now it was like, the Barnes firm and whatever. They went their separate ways, guys. Sometimes there's irreconcilable differences. I haven't heard that jingle in probably 25 years. But that's branding. That shit is seared into my brain till the day that Mike Stearns drops dead, which could be in 4 minutes or it could be in 40 years.
Yeah.
Who knows? I will remember that song. Like, that's good branding. Now, do you have to go create a jingle? I don't know, man. I'm just a guy here in a studio that, had Matt kind enough to join me and we're taking up some airtime, but that's what brand is, right? So don't expect an immediate return from brand, but it doesn't mean it's wasted effort. And that's what I'll say is a mistake that a lot of people make, because they can't draw a line of attribution and feel good about X amount of dollars went in, X amount of time went in, and we got X amount of dollars back. They just don't do it. So in 2026, focus on your brand.
Yeah, there's a certain level of commitment that's needed. Like, it's not an overnight fix. There's not like a magic pill. Like, it is consistency. So you've got to just be consistently going. Here's another one. This is what I would tell any roofer that asks me, what should I do? What should I change? I would be willing to bet that most roofers will go do a roof. You get a call, I can come inspect my roof. You go inspect the roof. Nothing happened to the roof. The roof is fine. Doesn't need to be replaced. You can right there is a huge like trust building exercise, because right or wrong in our industry, the roofing industry, like people hear the word roofer, they have like, ooh, they kind of cringe, like, ooh, they
don't trust you.
Right. There is that reputation. So right there, roof is great. You say, Michael, roof looks fine. We don't need to do anything. Nothing's going to happen today. Your roof looks great. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to save your address. next time something happens, I'm going to know, and my team is going to reach out to you because we know that your home was in a storm. We have a technology that allows us to do that, so we can actually reach out to you. Instead, they'll give them a card and say, "Hey, call me next time it hails." I mean,
That's an incredible approach. What's the name of that technology?
it just so happens to be called HailTrace, and you can put it.
Plug for HailTrace, guys.
There are companies that do that, but like knowing, even if you have to do it manually, I would say use HailTrace because it's a great, easy technology. You set it and you forget it, will automatically alert you. But like knowing, that's what I was talking about, like knowing your market. If I have 100 customers in my city that I've done in the past, I've obviously built a good enough relationship for them to trust me to put on their roof. 100 people. They would probably recommend me to other people if I did a good job. That shout out, do a good job when you replace a roof. Like if they get caught by a hailstorm, it would be beneficial to me to know that so that I can then either reassure them, hey, we put a class 4 shingle on your roof, you're great. You don't need to do anything because we stand behind our product. Your roof is perfect. But you know who doesn't have a good roof? Your neighbors. Would you mind giving us a referral? Or we're going to just come out and just inspect your roof because we know it's good, but we're just going to do you a solid because that's the kind of company we are. We're going to inspect your roof. We'd love to talk to your neighbors. Can I use you as a referral? Like, that's easy. That's an easy way to go out there and do it. So,
and it should be happening on every conversation that we have. If you sold them something or not, if, like you said, it's a shame that in today's society that, just being honest with somebody is the differentiating factor, but it can be.
But it can be, absolutely.
And that carries a lot of weight. So, it's like, hey, you're good to go. What I'm going to do, we got this cutting edge technology. So we'll reach out if we think there's a reason to. You know that I'm not going to try to sell you something if you don't need it. I'll only reach out, with intentions of trying to help you. So, but, John's house over there looks like it's smoked. Would you mind facilitating?
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. You did him solid. You gave the best thing you can give anyone, which is peace of mind, baby.
Exactly.
I've been chasing that for 37 years. I still ain't got
it. Only in Jesus do we have peace. So.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't do politics or religion on the show, but
okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So it's that's incredible advice. Now, after the storm, what's the best? If you owned a roofing company, you just got out of a storm and you guys did well, or you did terrible, whatever. What are you going to do next?
So the storm's over. We've replaced a bunch of roofs. Let's say hypothetically, we did great. We did 150 roofs in, 3-week period. Like, cool. We did great. What am I doing next?
Yeah.
Okay. I think and I've never been a roofer, so like this could be completely wrong. But if I'm looking at it from an outside perspective, we've just had a really successful campaign, you might call it. This storm was great. I think what I'm doing is I'm going back and I'm looking at the roofs that didn't go with us. And then I'm looking for because like you can only cover so much ground in 3 weeks in this hypothetical situation. We're going to go just expand out there and see if there's still people that need help. Because like the reality is never are 100% of roofs that need to be replaced after a storm actually replaced after a storm. So we're going to go back and we're going to just do some due diligence and let everybody else who wants to leave, like, cool, leave. But this is our area and we're going to own this area and we're going to make sure that we are helping as many people as possible. So we're going to go back to the ones we didn't get. We're going to find out why. And then we're going to go look for some other stragglers that maybe even we missed because we were just hitting hard. We were going to sprint for 3 weeks and we're going to go figure those out.
How are you going to find out why they didn't go with you?
I mean, I think a lot of that is, well, I guess if you've had some conversation as a sales guy, like most deals die in the lack of follow-up. So if I've had some sort of, conversation with them, I'm reaching out, hey, storm happened 3 weeks ago. We just want to make sure you're taken care of. I think it's a call. It's a text, depending on the relationship you have. Maybe it's you go back out and door knock. I'm convinced that door knocking is still a really great way to go talk to people and get business and create opportunities.
Don't come to my house.
I love it when people come to my house. Come on. I'll talk to you. Do you use HailTrace? That's kind of my opener. But yeah, I think that's what I would do. Like call, text, or even go out and just see if you can have a conversation.
Yeah. I think it's a brilliant strategy, one that should be deployed. And honestly, like you stack that up with what we talked about earlier. It's like creating content. the best way for me, and literally I had a conversation with a client this morning about creating like a content calendar. What's the best way to create a content calendar? Talk to your salespeople. Ask them why people are explicitly telling you that they chose you or they didn't choose you. Now you understand what's driving people to and away from your brand. Now all that we do through branding, through content, is articulate why people should choose us, because we know people in the market have already. So if they already have, more people will. And we already know that people haven't. And if they haven't, more people probably won't. So how do we tip the scale in our favors? Well, we understand why people aren't buying from us. You're too expensive. Okay, let's make content about hiring the cheapest roofer. If you have a story about, a homeowner that got a roof replaced and it was 3 years ago and it cost them $16,000 when it should have cost them $25,000, they went with the cheap guy and he didn't understand how to install, in line with manufacturer specifications. There was an issue. There was a manufacturer defect, but guess what? Because they fucked up the install, they're not covering it. Wow. Yeah. So the cheaper roofer just became really expensive, right? But they didn't know that because you didn't put that content out in time for that person to be protected from that roofer that didn't know what they were doing. And that's on you. That blood's on your hands.
So don't be that guy.
Accountability. No one wants to be that guy. And you have a choice to make today. Okay?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
This was good. What's one thing you want to leave the audience with before we wrap up?
I think just to make a decision to be consistent. Like, it's not going to happen overnight. Be consistent. If you want to ascend to the next level and create as many opportunities as you can, be consistent in the small stuff. Like start somewhere. So that's what I would say.
Attention to details, consistency. I fucking love that.
Oh.
Well done, sir. Well done. I want to see you on some more shows in the future. And when I see you, send a link when you get on them, because this was really good. I appreciate that. And that was actually some incredible insights. So thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me.
Dude, absolutely. And thank you for tuning in, because if y'all didn't come, why would I do this? I wouldn't. I'd just be some crazy person talking to the ether. And once again, shout out to the team at Roofer for help making this happen. Y'all the realists. Click link in the description and we gone.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.